Hey, Mama. Oh my gosh, it feels so good to be back behind the microphone. Your girl took a break. I took basically June and pretty much all of July, except for the one episode I dropped about the behind the scenes of the Social Media Detox Club launch. But I took time off and I needed it and it felt good. But I am so glad to be back. We are getting back into our regularly scheduled episodes. However, I am dropping back down to one episode a week because I've picked back up blogging, which it's been so nice putting out weekly blogs. But anywho, today we are talking about why confusing visibility, marketing, and sales is slowing your business growth. And I wanted to talk about this because it came up actually during the launch of the Social Media Detox Club. If you go to the sales page for the membership, I say it's specifically about visibility. And I had a few people kind of get confused because they're like, oh, so it's about helping you market your business better. No, it's about visibility. Visibility and marketing are not the same thing. So, we're going to be diving into why you need to understand the difference between visibility, marketing, and sales, and really digging into, why not understanding these things is really costing you. It's costing you money, it's slowing your business growth. So, let's jump into today's episode. Hey, Mama. Are you tired of feeling stressed and overwhelmed trying to grow your online business with your babies at home? You desire more flexibility in your day, allowing you to pour into your family, yourself, and your business without running yourself into the ground. Mama, you can build your dream business and do it in a way that fits your current season of life. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Welcome to the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Singletary, daughter of the king, wife, mama of two, and life and business coach for mompreneurs. On this podcast, you will learn business strategies made for mamas just like you, who desire to be successful CEOs and fully present mamas without stress or overwhelm. So whether you're an entrepreneur who transitioned to a mompreneur or a mama turned mompreneur, I am here to support you. So grab your coffee, notebook, and pen, put in those earbuds, and let's dig in. All right, so let's talk about why you can't be confusing visibility, marketing, and sales. Now, before we jump into that, I want to share with you an exciting private podcast I'm going to be dropping most likely at the end of this month. I haven't set a launch date yet, but it's a free private podcast called the Visibility Accelerator Private Podcast. And essentially, this private podcast is going to help you accelerate your visibility. So really taking a deep dive into getting visible outside of social media. You're also going to be hearing from some amazing women who have been able to leverage these strategies to accelerate their visibility and the results that they have been able to experience. So if you want to have first access to this private podcast, you can click the link below in the episode description or head over to the show notes. So that way you can get on the wait list and have first access to the private podcast. So before we get into, confusing the three, let's do a brief overview of how visibility, marketing, and sales is different. So visibility is essentially about getting in front of new people. When I say visibility, I'm talking about lead generation. Marketing is about nurturing and engaging with your current audience. So not so much focusing on bringing in new people, but the people who are currently in your audience, building those deeper connections, or really helping them to understand what you do, how you can support them, why they need your services, educating them, all of that. Then selling is actually inviting people to work with you and really inviting your warmest leads, those people who they are ready to go, they're ready to invest, actually tell them, hey, this is how you can work with me. So having those DM conversations. So that is the difference between the three. I will be diving into the difference between marketing and visibility because those are the two that people typically use interchangeably. I will be diving into that difference on a deeper level in the Visibility Accelerator private podcast. Now, if you want to learn more about sales, go listen to my girl Kay Hillman's Moms Do Business Different podcast. She breaks down sales and selling your offers in the most simplified and peaceful way. Like, since I've worked with her and just listening to her podcast, sales is easy. So if you want to understand sales and be able to do it in a way that feels good, go check out her podcast. I will link that in the show notes. Okay, so like I said, a lot of people use marketing and sales, like use those words interchangeably, and it's costing them. And like I mentioned in the intro, this confusion actually came up during the launch of my membership. Some people thought the membership was focused on marketing or leveraging collaborations for marketing. And that's not what the membership is about. Like I said, visibility is about generating leads. It's about getting new people into your world. I like to think of visibility as the top of your sales funnel. That's the top of the funnel, the biggest part of the funnel where you're bringing in a whole bunch of people. So when you don't understand the difference between the three, or you're not focusing on each of these individually, you will not have clarity on the customer journey. The customer journey starts with visibility, bringing new people into your world. You need to know what type of content to create for each phase of the customer journey. Then, as those new people move down your funnel, you're starting the marketing. That's the second phase. This is where you create more of that like offer awareness. You're creating, different types of content that builds a deeper connection with your audience, really helping them to see themselves in your offers, earning their trust, further demonstrating your expertise. Now, again, when you aren't understanding the difference between the three or not really focusing on each of these in your business, you may think that you're increasing your visibility when in reality, you're just engaging with your current audience. You may think you're selling when in reality, you're still just nurturing your audience, or you're selling to people who aren't actually ready to invest. You're selling to people who aren't even at that phase of the funnel, at that stage of the customer journey. So when you don't understand the difference between these three, or you're not properly, prioritizing each of these in your business, or knowing where people are at, whether they're at the top of the funnel, so like the lead generation phase, or they're in the nurturing phase, or they're in the sales conversion phase. Like if you're not understanding that, you will not have an engaged audience of warm leads to sell to. Again, this is why visibility matters. If you want to have people ready to invest in your offers, so when you're launching a new offer, when you're opening the doors to your program, different things like that, you have to get visible to have that audience ready. If you are just constantly in this place of just marketing and essentially just nurturing the people in your audience, but they're already ready to invest in you, that can result in them finding someone else to support them because you didn't invite them to work with you. You didn't tell them, what the next steps are. So when you don't understand the difference between the three and, like I said, where people are at in the customer journey, it literally can cost you money. It can cost you signing new clients. So where I really see this issue arise is that people don't really prioritize visibility, or they think they're getting visible, but they're not actually doing what it takes to get visible. You want to make sure you are consistently getting visible because it ensures you always have an audience to sell to. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you lose a client and you don't have a way to quickly replace that income. Now, I recently had this happen. A client had to end our contract, and instead of like freaking out or like losing it, I knew I had people in my audience ready to work with me. So I was able to take immediate action and reach out to those people who I knew were ready to invest. And I was able to sign a new podcast launch client before the contract with the other client ended. That is the power of understanding visibility, marketing, and sales, and prioritizing each in your business. This is why I do 2 to 3 collaborations per month. I continue to show up to nurture and engage with my community through my podcasts and emails, and consistently let you know how you can work with me and invite you to work with me. And for those who I know are ready to invest, I reach out to them personally to invite them to work with me or hop on a sales call to see how I can best support them. That's what you want. You want this seamless process so that way, again, if a client has to cancel a contract or God forbid you have a client ghost you and just stop making payments, you aren't stressing about replacing that income because you already know you have an audience of warm leads ready to work with you, ready to invest with you. Not knowing where your next client is going to come from does not have to be your reality. You can confidently know that you have an audience of people ready to work with you, ready to invest in your offers as soon as you have an opening. It can be that easy. Like, it doesn't need to be stressful. You don't need to be scrambling. You can set things up in a way to make sure that you are prioritizing visibility, marketing, and sales. It can be a seamless process, but you have to make sure that you're understanding the 3, what you should be doing when it comes to your visibility, when it comes to your marketing, when it comes to selling. You have to understand that. And there are lots of resources there. Like I said, I talk about visibility a lot on this podcast in different ways you can get visible. You don't understand sales? Go binge Kay Hillman's Moms Do Business Different podcast. And marketing, we both cover marketing on our podcast. And there are lots of resources for marketing out there. But you want to understand these things so that way you can have a business that truly fits your current season of life. You aren't stressing and worrying about how you're going to get your income back up, worrying or stressing when a client says they need to end their contract or decides not to renew their contract. We can get in this cycle of where we're so focused on client work that we neglect our own businesses, that we don't continue to show up in our businesses. And you can't do that. If you want to have a profitable business, yes, you need to serve your clients well, but you also need to be focused on your business. You need to be pouring into your business. So getting visible, y'all know visibility doesn't have to be hard. I've already told you collaborations. I do 2 to 4 collaborations a month, and that keeps me visible. My podcast, that keeps me visible. Social media is not the only option for visibility. So if you really want to start focusing in on your visibility and accelerating your visibility, go ahead and sign up for my free private podcast, The Visibility Accelerator. It will be dropping most likely the end of August, at the latest early September. So click the link below in the episode description or head over to the show notes. All right, Mama, I will catch you in the next episode. Well, Mama, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a review? Hitting that follow button and sharing your thoughts about the podcast are the best ways to ensure that other mamas like you find this show. Your review also lets me know if you're enjoying this podcast, so make sure to share your thoughts before you go. All right, Mama, I'll catch you in the next episode.